These are a few of my favourite things.
Hello, so I wanted to come in and talk about my favourite things from September. So generally September wasn't a very productive reading month for me. I only read one, two, three, is it three novels? Is that all? I think I only read three novels during that month. Yeah, I think it's because at the moment I am a bit stressed out because I was meant to get my student loan on like the 21st of September and I've still not got it, so I am a bit like, shit, what am I going to do for money? Apparently it's because the university semester has been pushed back from like the end of September to starting at the end of October this year, so Student Finance Wales are being like, oh, well, we'll send you your money like closer to the end of October because that's when you'll need it. And I'm like, I need it now. Also, I have a spot. I have a spot brewing on my face, and I might have one there as well. I would say sorry, but it's not really my fault, so you'll just have to put up with that. So yeah, even though I didn't have a particularly productive reading month in September, the books I did read, they were decent, so that was good. I read both of these books, Shuggie Bain and How Much of These Hills is Gold. I wouldn't say either of them will be my favourites for this year, but I do want to do a video on each of them for the Booker Prize, so I'll probably do that this week. And I was actually going to come in and talk about The Discomfort of Evening on Sunday to do a Sunday reads type thing, but I've just been stressed out, so I've not done that. And now it's, what is it, Friday today, so I'm like, I can't do Sunday reads for last Sunday when it's Friday because I might as well just talk about that in a September favourites video. This book has been one of my favourites this year so far. I thought this book was so well done. This book was such a good reading experience. The Discomfort of Evening just won the International Man Booker Prize for 2020, and I did like it. First of all, I like the cover. It's quite interesting having a person on the cover, and I don't know if you could see it, but the front cover looks, I mean, it looks like a chalkboard, but it's got like a matte finish, and it's French flaps, so I'm like, Faber, you actually did a good job on this one. And it's got cows on the back because it is set on a farm. So I thought that this book was set on a farm was so interesting. So it's set in the Netherlands, I think. So this is the author's debut. And I can see why there has been so much hype around this book, particularly in the Netherlands. It's set on a dairy farm, and I think it's set in around early 2000s. So it's when the outbreak of foot and mouth disease was going on. So there's one bit where like the farm is just disintegrating because they're like, all the cows are going to have to be euthanized, basically. But it's not too much about the cows or the dairy farm. That's kind of just in the background. The girl who's telling the story, she is like the daughter of the farmer, so the farm is always there, but it's mainly in the background. I found this book so sensual and evocative. Like, I don't think anyone should come away from this book and not feel strongly about its content. The setup of the story is that her brother dies at the start because he like falls through ice, and then the girl narrating it, I think she says something like she meant to give him his ice skates before he left or something, so she feels like guilty about it. After he dies, she starts wearing this red coat and she just refuses to take it off. The girl is also 12. When I was reading it, I thought that her wearing the coat wasn't just because her brother died, like her way of dealing with that or expressing that. Her wearing the coat was kind of because she's starting to hit puberty and her boobs are like coming in and she's not sure how she feels about it. I think the novel is meant to be somewhat autobiographical. I think they had a sibling that died, but I think their sibling died when they were like 3 years old, not like they were 12 in this book. It's written in the present tense. How would I describe this book? Probably Wuthering Heights meets Catcher in the Rye. The girl narrating it, she is pretty depressed, but she doesn't bang on about it too much. It's more that the novel captures this odd stage of her life where she's losing her childhood innocence because her brother's just died and she's growing up herself, and she's seeing how her parents are very religious. So the parents are like devout Christians, not sure what type of Christians they are, but the parents are like devout Christians, and her parents like barely speak about her brother who died, and then her siblings are also growing up, her other brother and sister. So they're all dealing with the death in various ways. But I thought the way it discussed death was really good. I thought like the themes of death were explored so well in this book. Like you would expect a book about the loss of innocence to be maybe nostalgic or sentimental, and this book was like brutally unsentimental. Like this book was quite violent, and some people have labelled the book disturbing. The violence in the book, I thought so much of it was about the violence of having a body. So the author is non-binary, so I don't know if the girl in it was meant to, grow up to be non-binary, but she grows up and she's a girl and she's growing up and she definitely feels, I would say, awkward about being a girl. So I don't think the character is meant to be non-binary. Maybe in the future when she grew up, the character would have been non-binary. Not sure. But there's definitely a sense of violence about her having a body. I think the violence of having a body in the book is kind of tied to living on a farm, because you see what the female cows go through. Like they give birth, they have to be milked every day, and then with foot and mouth disease they're being euthanized. And the violence of that kind of life, it kind of sets the human body up as being on the same level as the rest of the animals, which I found really interesting. Because her brother's died, she like refuses to poo. That's her way of dealing with it. And she becomes constipated. Like she basically constipates herself. The book is like so unsparing in its depictions of her constipation. So like there's one part where her father rams soap up her bottom. So the book, like if you want to read about, hand forced colonic irrigation, and if you don't mind animal cruelty, read this book.
Dirty filth.
But I really loved this book. Like there was so much taboo material in this book that when I was reading this, like one point I was reading it, it was like 2 a.m, and I was like, oh, I've woken up, what shall I do? And I was reading this book and I was literally reading it in bed, like, no, her brother did not just do that with her. Like, no, they did not just do that to their hamster. Like, no, her father did not just do that with his fist. Like, reading it, like, I would love to see what their family thinks of this book.
You are going to gag. I'm not judging, I'm just judging.
The blurb made out that as the novel goes on, the narrator gets more and more disturbed. So I was expecting it to like spiral and spiral and spiral, but it didn't really spiral. I thought it, it arcs, but I would say that it doesn't spiral out of control. There was one note about how it's translated, and apparently the translator refused to translate one joke that was made about Hitler because I guess it wouldn't be well received by quaint British ears. But I was like, I want to know what that Hitler joke was. If the people in the Netherlands can read it, I want to know what that joke was. So if you've read the book and you've read the non-British edition, what is the joke that they left out? Do you know what that was? But I thought I would read you a little bit of the book, just so that you can get a sense of, the narrator's tone and what it's like. Chapter 14. There's exactly 12 hours between the morning and evening milkings. It's Saturday, which means Dad goes back to bed after the first round. You can hear the floor creaking until it's quiet again upstairs. We're not allowed to take our places around the kitchen table until about 11, when he feels like breakfast. It's been laid since 8 o'clock, and sometimes I walk in hungry circles around it, in the hope that Dad will hear my impatience vibrating up through the ceiling. Sometimes I secretly smuggle a slice of gingerbread upstairs and break it in two. One half used to be for Hannah, but now it's for my toads. Yeah. If you liked Wuthering Heights and you liked The Catcher in the Rye, read this book. And if you have read this book, what did you think of it? Right, now let's see, what else have I been liking? I've got a list of the other things I was liking. So, in my last August favourites video, I said how I wanted to make chocolate cake, and I made the chocolate cake, and it was beautiful.
And it was the most scrumptious cake in the entire world.
I still have some slices of that in my freezer, so what I've been doing is, I've been getting the slices of cake out of the freezer, putting them in a bowl, putting them in the microwave for like 2 minutes until they're like warm and moist, and then I've been putting slobs of vanilla ice cream over them, and oh my god, Oh, it is amazing. I've been watching a lot of movies and TV series stuff just over there at my DVDs, and I went on like a binge in the charity shops in Stockport, and I bought a load of books, a load of DVDs from there because they were like 3 for a quid. So I was like, spend £20 on that stuff, and I've got loads. So I've got all 6 seasons of Desperate Housewives. So I've been loving that.
It looked to be an interesting afternoon on Wisteria Lane.
I'll start getting some sleep pretty soon. I'll be forced to move back upstairs out of sheer exhaustion.
And Bree played hardball. Everyone has a little dirty laundry.
I've been watching some old Disney movies like Aladdin. I watched Shrek 2, and Shrek 2 is such a good movie. Like, it's such a good sequel. And Jennifer Saunders just makes that movie as the fairy godmother. There's also so many shots thrown at Disney in that movie. They're just taking the piss.
Princess Cinderella. There we are, lived happily ever after. Oh, no ogres. It's no wonder. Fancy friends. Oh, no ogres. Beauty. Oh, no ogres. Hansel and Gretel. No. Thumbelina. No. The Golden Bird. The Little Mermaid. Pretty Woman. No, 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 no. Ogres don't live happily ever after.
Holly, look, lady.
Don't you point those dirty green sausages at me!
What else? I watched Titanic. Was it last night or the night before? I think it was last night I watched Titanic. That was good. Sometimes I insert like clips. So normally like the clips I insert in my videos are clips from stuff I've been recently watching. Music wise, I've been liking some of the early Black Eyed Peas stuff from like 2000 and 2005.
No, don't funk with my heart.
And recently I've been liking Pop Smoke songs. So I think he was like a rapper slash singer, a black music artist, and he died, was it from an overdose last year? Because he died before his like album launched, they've released his album stuff in 2020. So I've been liking some of his songs. I like the songs Mood Swings, and I like the song What Do You Know About Love?
Shorty a little baddie, shorty my little boo thing, and shorty got the fatty, shorty be catching mood swings.
Ballerina tip, keep a tight grip on it. That's my dick when I want it. But boy, you give me hit, make me wanna treat you like a broke nigga. Always end up with the wrong niggas.
What am I looking forward to in October? I bought a waffle iron this month from Argos, so I want to make some waffles in October. I want to read some books and finish some of the books on the Booker shortlist that I have. I want to decorate my living room for Halloween, so I want to do Victober, which is apparently when you read like some Victorian novels for October, and Gothtober. Some of the like American YouTubers I watch talk about books, they're doing Gothtober, so that's when they just recommend some like Halloween gothy style reads. So I'm going to do a video for that. And I might even, I don't know, like when I dressed up as Madame Gemma Rose for my Booker series, that was quite fun. So I might do something like that for my Halloween videos. So I might do, I don't know, like some kind of Kim Kardashian slaggy vampire lady costume. I might do some kind of costume like that. Someone tagged me in the DNF tag, so I want to do that video, and I want to do the rereading books tag. Because I've been watching so many movies lately, every time like a book comes up in a movie and someone's reading in movies, I notice it. So I've thought of doing a like books in films or reading in films compilation video where the video is just clips from movies of people reading. So if you'd be interested in seeing that, let me know. Hopefully I get to sort out student finance this month, and then I can start the second year of my masters. What are you looking to read in October, and what were some of your favourite things from September? And let me know if you want to see Halloween type videos as well. My parents are coming up this weekend, and my dad's never seen my flat before. I moved into this flat basically about a year ago to this day. I'm just so glad that this year my unfurnished flat is all furnished and everything's lovely and I'm loving it and I can show it to you guys. So I'm so glad that this year I have everything set up in motion for uni, whereas last year I was starting the Masters, finding a place to live, trying to furnish a place to live, and managing working full time. So, you know, now I'm on benefits, so that's not brilliant, but at least I can have benefits. So, yeah, hopefully I'll be doing more work in schools this month and maybe be coming off benefits, but who knows. At least my birthday is at the start of November, so I've got that to look forward to. Thanks for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you have a good October as well. Alright, bye.